Hi guys, welcome to episode 5 of Factorio Vanilla. I've gone ahead between episodes and cleared out some of this area a little bit so we can start extending the bus, and I've done a little bit of work over here to make sure that this keeps mining, because just as I started to look at things I noticed that all these were full up and the whole thing ground to a stop, which isn't great when I want to actually clear this so we get a bit more easy access to the start of our belt. Now, one of the things that I do want to do, because I've been promising for the last couple of episodes, is get our green circuits underway, and as well as that I want to try and then get our red science and our green science automated, because at the moment we are running out of things to research that requires just red science. So what have we got? Really, we're down to military and armour crafting, and then we've got the first couple of rows of the various bullet damage. And that's all we can do with what we've got automated at the moment. So let's just go on with military for the time being, and we'll go from there. We have finished, I should say, down here somewhere, we have finished Automation 2 just off screen a few seconds ago, which means we can now make assembly machine 2s, and that's a really key part of any major factory, because the assembly machine 1s are nice. They allow you to start things off, they allow you to get things going, but they only have 2 slots that you can use, whereas the assembly machine 2s have 4 slots, which means that you can make things like inserters, which require 3 items. So most things in the game you can now make with assembly machines 2. Very little you require assembly machine 3 for, and just to actually get that going, we are going to want to make a few assembly machine 2s, just because it just means we won't have to pocket craft everything. So we're going to do that quickly now, just to get out of the way. So just going to tear a way down for the iron to come through over here. And if we look at this for a second, we know that we need electronic circuits, iron gear wheels and iron plates in order to make the assembly machines 1, and we need iron plate, electric circuits, gear wheels and the assembly machines 2 to make our second tier of assembly machines. So if I set this up in a moment, I'm going to build 2 lots of iron gear wheel production. We'll have one factory making the assembly machine 1s, and then we'll feed all that into the assembly machine 2s, and we can bring the output from the green circuits, which we'll build in a second, into that to actually finish the thing off. So in the meantime, technology jumps in the way, so let's just get this out of the way. So what have we got? If we bring this down here, we're going to need 4 factories to do this with. So we've got resources for 1 already. Just grab a little bit of this, and that should do the trick for that so far. So again, give that a moment or two just to catch up. And while we're doing that, well, 1 here, 1 here, 1 there, and the final 1 there. So I can start plugging in all our inserters and everything for this to get it all going. Don't need inserters for these 2 because they don't require anything from there, but we will need another row of belts coming in. And we're going to need a box also to store this in when it's done. So the box can go there. We're not going to need huge amounts, but we are going to need, say, 2 stacks of assemblies ready at any time, just so we can build as much as we need to without completely draining everything into making inserters. So just start to fill in some of these gaps. And this will be our green circuit input. So we might need, we need a few more underground belts for these. and we're going to need some power from them as well. So actually, if I move that from there to there, it makes powering the whole thing a little bit easier, because I can just do that now and obviously tell them what we want them to make. So those are making gears, this will make assembly machine 1s, this will make assembly machine 2s, and it's all ready apart from, it's all ready apart from we don't have our green circuits yet. So I think for a moment, just put in enough green circuits to get things going, and then we can go build our green circuit factory just slightly above. So if we pop these in, and we need 3 green circuits per assembly machine, so this will be enough to get us started. Why is that not pulling in? Oh, because we've gotten our long hand inserter there. But, pop these in for a moment, and what else we miss? We're missing something. Yep. We need our inserter there as well. So this has got everything it needs to get started. You can already see we've got 2 off the belt. We're going to want 5 for what we need, and I'll tell you why in a second. So just give that a moment more to catch up. Probably take half of these, put them in there, and the rest of those can go there. So there you go, we've now got 5 assembly machine 2s, which is all we need for the time being. So the reason I say we need 5 is there's a lot of ratios involved in Factorio, that if you think of the power plants for a second, and bear in mind all this will change with Alpha 15 in a month or 2, but at the moment the ratio for power plants is 1 offshore pump to 14 boilers to 10 steam engines. And that gives you your maximum efficiency, so you're not wasting any resources or anything. Well, the same thing applies with green circuits, that your maximum efficiency for green circuits would be 3 copper cables being used to produce 2 sets of green circuits or electronic circuits, and with that you're about as efficient as you can with your use. Nothing is waiting for anything else, or nothing is held up by anything else, and you're not overproducing anything either. So I think that's good to be enough set up for now. I like to run my green circuits down the bus, which means I actually like to have them fairly near the start of the bus. Obviously there's plenty of space up here to expand, so we can put more in if we choose to, but for now 1 set will be enough. So let's just start wiring all this in. So we're going to need some copper cable, we're going to need some copper plate coming up here to go in to make a copper cable. We are going to want some iron plate coming up here to go in with the copper cable to make our electronic circuit, and I'll show you that in a second. So the copper cable there, and then we've got our green circuit, which is iron plate and copper cable. So copper cable comes in, iron plate will come up and off the bus and into here as well, and then we'll run the green circuits down and across onto the main bus. So I like to have 2 belts worth on the bus, because I think that gives us enough most of the time for what we need. So we just bring this over, and this can run up there. So that's the basics of it set up. Now to actually just put in the inserters and things. And there are plenty of other videos out there that will talk about the maths of it. I'd recommend looking at some of Arumba's videos to really understand the maths of how everything works together, because he will explain it better in his videos than I can at the moment. But there you go, so that's got all the power coverage we need. So the last thing then is just to hook it up to the rest of the network and to start getting our splitters and things in place. So that will go in there, and we're going to need this off here. Now this will go under the copper bus, which I know you can't see it there yet, but it will also run past this point at some point. And that will be more or less everything we need to get this stuff going. So if we watch, this will keep coming up. And let's put some lights in here as well, just so that you guys can see a little bit more clearly what's going on. So we've got the copper coming in, being turned into copper cable, going in and being turned into... and this needs to go the other way. Being turned into green circuits, which comes off, onto the main bus, and obviously we want to split it here, so that we can then bring it down and into our assembly factories. Now I say I've cleared the forest all the way across here to extend the bus. What I've neglected to do is this, but it doesn't matter just for the time being. We can always come back and do that off camera again in a few minutes. So as you can see, we've now got green circuits coming down. Not a lot for now, but it's a start. I've got our iron plates, our iron gears, and that's enough just to get the whole thing rolling. Now, I could double up this, but it's not worth it for the moment. This is obviously coming along quite nicely. Why is our gun turret damage not really functioning? What's going on there? Take a look at this. Gun turret damage isn't going anywhere because we need green signs for that. So that's a reminder to us that we do need to get our green signs up and going. But what can we do instead? We can do bullet shooting speed. That will work instead. So we should see some progress with that technology in a few minutes. So okay, looking past there. I don't really want to come down here because it's going to get in the way. But I think if we build our larger scale red science automation down here, and then we can put our green science next to it as well, feeding into the same place, and it will all start to take shape after that. So I'm probably going to need more belt in a second, so I don't think it's going to be quite enough. If we run out of that, we can always go back and get some more. So yeah, we are going to run out in a moment. Let's run back to the chest and grab some more belt, and then we can get everything starting to produce. In the meantime, that gives time for this to build up a little bit, because we will need more assemblers than we currently have. So this looks like a good spot, and what I'm going to do is just have 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So in the top one for each of these, we're going to put in our gears, and just copy that down. And be arranged to actually do it. And in our bottom two, we're going to make the red signs themselves. So that will allow us to keep things nice and tight with our belting. In fact, we don't even need to go as far down as that one with that. And this can come up here. Now the reason I've done it that way is because of ratios. Now I've mentioned before various ratios, but if we look at this, they're both the same crafting speed of 0.75, but iron gear wheels take half a second to make one, and red science takes 5 seconds to make one. So actually, I probably don't even need all of those, because one iron gear wheel would actually support the production of, or one iron gear wheel making place would actually support the production of 10 red science. So let's scrap this for a second and rebuild it, and I'll build it so that we'll actually have 10 red science packs being made at once. So pick up some more of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means that our belt will need to go a little bit further along. So if we bring that to there and that to there, and we can have our splitter here, I think it's worth putting a fast inserter in there right from the start. So give that a moment to start up. But for the rest of this, we can just use normal, regular inserters. If I get close enough to actually place these, they can go right there up there. And we will need to run this back over to join up with our main power supply. So actually, if we make these red science packs all the way around, we have our fast inserter in, our fast inserter out. So there you go, we've now got enough. And actually this should be enough to produce enough for all of these. So that's that side done. And the other side we need to do is our copper input. So same sort of thing, we run this all the way up. And we're going to need some more long-hand inserters as well to get the science packs back out. And we want a second belt then coming down here, which will be our red science packs on the way out. And they can come all the way down here for now, but there's no space constraints, nothing in the way. So that gives us lots of space for those to go in. And we can then put our green science packs on this side, coming onto the other side of the belt. So that will work out fairly well. Now, we're going to have 4 rows of iron, 2 spaces, 4 rows of copper, 2 spaces, 2 rows of green circuits. And in order for our copper to come in where we want it, we branch it off by here and bring it under to there. And let's just run this all the way back. And all the way forward. Oh, looks like I didn't quite pick out enough trees when I was doing this earlier, but it was close enough. So I think at this point it's worth going back and just splitting this in a bit more evenly. So I put that there and here, put that there, and now just drop it down so we're all going. And the way that this is set up, it means that as we need to, we can start to improve our smelting arrays and have more space to actually bring it into here. That's part of why I want this clear. I don't know whether I'm going to want to move these forward a couple of squares in time, but it will work so well enough for where it is at the moment. I see that we are starting to hit our electricity cap, so we found a power pole. Yeah. At times we are just slightly hitting overproduction, which means it's time to look at putting some more steam engines in, but I'll probably do that in the next episode. So let's just pop back here for a second. Which means put in our long hand inserters just to finish this bit off. And why is that one short? Because I've been silly and I put it in there instead. So we don't want that because that would be nasty contamination on the belts. There we go. And this one can go by there instead. So as you can see, we've now got a lot more red signs coming through, and in a moment we should get some green signs set up as well, and then we can start moving our lab complex away from this teeny tiny structure. Of course, we've got to be careful about biters because, thinking about it, our pollution is starting to spread. In fact, it's going just off the screen up here and obviously over there somewhere. And we've got no idea where the biters are there, so at some point soon we're going to look at some defensive structures as well, because we don't want to be overrun. So that's our red science sorted and completely under control. What do we need of green science? Green science takes inserters and transport belts. Now inserters is part of the reason I hung on for a while, because you can't make inserters which require 3 components in assembly machine 1. But now that we've got the assembly machine 2s done and automated, we can start to make the inserters, which will then go with the belt into making green science packs. So let's lay things out backwards so we can see where things go. But we need 1 inserter and 1 transport belt, which means that we need both these in equal numbers. That takes a half second to produce, and that takes a half second to produce, so we should need about the same quantity of all the things throughout. So if we say that we want, this one takes 6 seconds to produce versus this one only takes 5. So if we make 12 assembly machines making green science 2, then we'll have the same number of green science packs being made over a given period as we will have for science pack 1. And I think that's probably worth doing. So we've got 14 assembly machine 2s still. So let's start by here. 1, 2, 4. 11 and 12. So same sort of thing, we can start connecting all these up with the inserters, start to plumb them in so everything will be connected when we want them to be. Tell this to make green science packs. And obviously get our power cables running to it nicely as well. I realise I haven't had any lights this area yet, so we've got some lights coming down here and some lights coming down this side as well. There you go. So do we want to have a belt coming in for for inserters and a belt coming in for transport belts? Or do we want to mix them on the same belt? Let's try and mix them on the same belt. We can always split them out if we need to, if we find that we've not got enough throughput. But let's bring this running from the bottom to the top, because that way we can have things running from the top to the bottom to actually make the stuff. So making belt is easy, we've already spotted that, because that's just iron gear wheels and iron plates. So I think if we do 4 sets of those for now, we're going to need some more assembly machines. We've got loads here now, so that's plenty. Tell you what, it takes 6 seconds to make one of those, so that means that we can make, so 1, let's figure out the maths for a second. So if a transport belt is made 2 in half a second, it makes 4 per second. And if this requires 1 every 6 seconds, you know what, skip the maths, we'll build it for now, we can always adjust the ratios. So how many have we got there? We've got 3 there, and 1 more will probably be enough. We'll find out in a moment. So all of this is going to be our iron plate, and what we're going to do is iron plate in to make gears, iron plate in to make belts, gears, belts, gears, belts, gears, belts, and then we'll also have 1 in the middle which will go from the gears to the belts as well. And we need an output for the belts onto a belt to ground, terminating to green science. I see what we've done wrong there. Should come this one. And the same as before, we need some electric poles, just so to get the power to everything, which can connect this up. And we tell this gears, 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 gears. Thank you for speech. Shooting speed 1. We can do 2 as well with our red circuit still. But let's just get this finished with transport belt, 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 and belt. So the only thing now we need is to hook it in, which requires one more splitter, which takes a few seconds to make. And I will be automating these as well over time because I want to make everything as easy for myself to build stuff as possible. And then to finish this off, we can bring this down here. I need to go right the way down so that we can join them with this. So this will come in on just the one side of the belt, and then we'll have the inserters coming on the other side of the belt. So I think that's all we're going to be able to do today. But check back tomorrow, I will get inserters added in tomorrow as well, and then we'll have automated green signs, and things will be progressing quite well. So that's it for now, take care, see you next time.